Welcome to the lighter side of the dark side. It's your weekly freak show here on Renegade Radio and all podcast catchers, including Spotify, iHeartRadio, YouTube as well. It's the Dark Mark Show. I am Dark Mark, the goth comedian. And as always, my co-host, everybody's favorite horror writer and birthday girl this week, Nicole Six.
Hi.
We have a legend today. He's been in everything. This man has informed my pop culture life for as long as I can remember. He was in the movie Annie. He was in the Home Alone, Pretty Woman, Seinfeld, Breaking Bad, Friends. He was Mr. Heckles on Friends. He's been in everything. He's a guy that just pops up for a scene and steals the movie or TV show that he's in every time. And I've had the honor of performing with him and seeing him perform live twice. Here he is. Legend and still going strong, Larry Hankin.
Woo!
How you doing?
Hi, Larry.
Hi. I forgot the female's name. I forgot the girl's name.
That would be Nicole.
Nicole. Okay. Nicole. Hi, Nicole. Hi, Dark.
Well, we all need to wake up, I think. And here's the way to wake up, by the way, is our sponsor, Ray's Energy Drink. This is the best energy drink. Oh, yeah. You can't get this at stores or 7-Elevens. You can get this at gyms, GNCs, but it's really expensive. Or you can go to the description in your podcast catcher or YouTube for our link where you can get 15% off a case. That's how I got this. This is my favorite flavor, Galaxy Burst. It tastes like kind of like Fruit Loops. It's really fruity.
With zero calories.
Not only that, 0 calories, 0 carbs, 0 dyes. And 0 crack.
0 taste, 0.
It tastes delicious. That's the thing. It's the best tasting energy drink. It wakes you up, and it's the best. Ray's Energy Drink. We have a code where you can get 15% off a case.
Oh, cool. Well, cool. There's a lot of weird tastes out there. So somebody gave me a really weird tasting drink the other night. It seems ordinary, but put together. It was seltzer. This is really weird. Seltzer and vinegar.
Huh?
What?
Seltzer and vinegar. I don't. Who drinks vinegar? I don't know anybody who drinks vinegar. But he put. It's like 5 to 1. 5 seltzers to 1 thing of vinegar. 5 to 1 vinegar.
Interesting.
And but it really tasted good. I drank 2 glasses. It's amazing.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, he told me what it was first. He said, "Well, it's vinegar and seltzer." I go, "Whoa!" But he started to drink it. The host, he started to drink. I said, "Well, I'll try anything once,
Right.
Let me try it." And I chugged down 2 glasses. Tasted great.
Well, I
don't like vinegar. It's weird. Anyway,
I like seltzer. I like vinegar, but I can't imagine putting them together, and I can't imagine it tasting.
It sounds like drinking pickles.
Exactly. Yeah. Here's some pickle juice and some battery acid. Go right ahead. Now, this friend wasn't Bill Cosby, was? And the reason I did the Cosby joke, other than to do a cheap Cosby joke, because I wanted to really, just as a comedy nerd. And I was a comedy nerd before they actually had a name for it, comedy nerd, is that
I never heard that.
Oh no, there's a whole internet crowd of comedy nerds. They study comedy, they research.
Really?
Comedy.
Wow, I used to be a stand-up comedian. I should get in on with that crowd.
You really should, because you have, you're like, you're in a way, you're kind of the Forrest Gump of show business. You just keep popping up and things just at the most successful levels.
The Forrest Gump of the comedy world. I like that. That's great, man. Thank you very much.
Because you moved to Greenwich Village.
You can jump in anytime, Nicole. It's really cool. Don't worry about it. But keep on trucking.
Nicole,
you saw me do. See, I started out as a stand-up comedian, so that's why I really love that word, comedy nerd. Those 2 words, comedy nerd.
Well, not only that,
I dropped out a long time ago, but you saw me do a stand-up thing,
right?
When we met, So
I've seen you do a couple of stand-up shows. I did, the one was about 20 years ago.
Oh yeah, that was about the last time I did stand up, was about maybe 10 years ago.
What was your favorite part of doing stand up?
I go over 40 years. It was I started with Milton Berle, and then Lenny Bruce. There's a big jump there. Milton Berle, Lenny Bruce. And then I kind of dropped out for a while. And then I started to pick up with, lately, it's just Bill Burr, Joe Coy, those kind of guys. Carlin, Pryor, those people.
What did you enjoy about it, though? Like, what was the thing that made you enjoy being a stand-up comedian?
I'm a performer. I never wanted to be in show business. I didn't want to be an actor. I never wanted to, I didn't know about show business. I lived my family was very closed off. I didn't know about anything in the outside world until I graduated college. And then a buddy of mine, my best friend in college, was Carl Gottlieb. He wrote all the Jaws movies. So he said he was going to Greenwich Village. And I said, fine. I was going to go to Detroit and design cars. I'm an industrial designer. That's what I graduated with. I got a degree in it. But I said, no, screw Detroit. Let's go to let's go to Greenwich Village. That sounds like fun. I went to Detroit, check it out. And it didn't impress me. I thought this stuff was not good. I didn't like them. They didn't like me. I kept on saying, they would I'd look at plastic cars, that they would design. And they go, oh, you like that? I said, no, I expected more from Ford. She said, you don't want to work here, do you? I go, no, I don't. So I called Carl and I said, hey, you want a roommate? I don't want to go to Detroit. So we went to Greenwich Village, and that's where I saw everybody was there. Everybody who is anybody today was there. It was amazing.
Well, that's what I want to get into.
Dylan, Peter, Paul and Mary, Hendrix, all of them. I can't even. I've forgotten all of the people.
Lenny Bruce, Bill Cosby, Lenny
Bruce, Bill Cosby. They were all there. They were all, and they were totally unknown.
And you ended up with Woody Allen's manager, who.
Woody Allen. I opened for Woody Allen. That was my big. I was opening for like Miles Davis. I did the Playboy Club circuit. That was kind of cool.
Now, I've heard that you opened for Miles Davis. What is that like? Because I can't imagine.
Great. He's got the hippest crowd going. I mean, that's what. Going back to Nicole, I discovered the critical thinkers. Lenny Bruce, and then Richie Pryor and George Carlin, and that turned me on to, wow, they're doing some cool stuff, and I started to do that. And then cops started pulling me off the stage. I mean, I was just, I didn't have a lawyer, so I just stopped doing comedy. I just joined Second City.
Why were they pulling you off the stage? Was it there wasn't any law?
I was saying fucking shit and talking about religion and rock and roll and drugs, and I was talking about the stuff that everybody was doing, and so I just talked about it. I mean, I had no axe to grind. I wasn't against it or for it. I was just talking about it.
Today,
and all of a sudden I see these talented cops come on the stage. All right, you're finished. Let's go off. Wow, man, it's crazy.
Were you ever thrown in jail?
No, I was never thrown in jail because they took me off because I didn't fight. If I saw the cops coming on the stage or guys coming at me with beer bottles, that was the I guess the straw that broke the camel's back. When a guy came up and get off, I was opening for the Kingston Trio. You got to find your own audience. And I was opening for Woody Allen, and I started to see in the beginning, when I first started, and he was just starting. He was just starting to get on television, Woody. And we had both the same manager. So I would open for Woody, and, he would draw, he would have a packed house, even though he was unknown. In New York, he was known. But he had a packed house every night. So I would open for a packed house, but it was his audience. But they were a comedy crowd. Right. They came to laugh. They didn't want to hear music. They wanted to laugh, even if it wasn't funny. But then as I started to, and he started to get more and more famous, I started to see that they really came to see him and not me. And I was into like Lenny Bruce and George Carlin and Richie Pryor stuff, and they wouldn't laugh at my stuff. So I thought, is there something wrong with me? And then I opened for another act, and I thought, oh no, it's not me. That was Woody's crowd.
Right.
And every comedian has their own comedy nerds.
Yeah.
Every comedian has their own crowd, and they come to laugh at them.
Right.
And so I had to find my own crowd. And so I was touring with the rock and roll bands, the Lovin' Spoonful. I toured with them to get to the college crowds.
Yeah, you got Cops pulled you off opening for the Lovin' Spoonful.
Well, Cops, the first show, I got 20 policemen. 20, count them, 20, 10 on each side. The wall aisles came up from both sides of the stage, and they said, okay, you're finished, you know. And they weren't, I don't think they even knew why they were pulling me off the stage. The dean of the college called and said, I swear to God, this is a quote, there's a filthy mouthed comedian on the stage. We want him off. And so the cops came. And the audience started to boo. There was a college crowd, and they started to boo when I started talking about sex. So I said, and they started to throw the arms of the chairs at me. You know,
really?
These wooden arms of the chairs, they would knock them off and heave. I mean, if one of them hit me, I would have went to the hospital. And I'm ducking them, but I started to shout at them. I stopped doing my act, and I said, what the hell are you doing? There's sex, drugs, and rock and roll. You're a college audience, and you're booing me? You want, no, the clean stuff, they were yelling. Is it like a 2,000 people?
College kids were yelling at you to do the clean stuff.
2,000 college kids, Washington University.
Lovin' Spoonful.
The Lovin' Spoonful. We want the clean stuff. Because I would start with 2 minutes of clean material, and then I would go into Richie Pryor, Lenny Bruce, George Carlin. And for no reason, except I thought it was funny. I mean, I had no axe to grind. Blah, blah, blah. I wasn't even doing drugs then. I mean, everybody was doing drugs around me. I go to parties, everybody's turning on with blah, blah, blah. I wasn't interested. It had no interest. I was doing fine. And then, later, but when the cops pulled me off the stage, I was clean. So I didn't understand. I thought they were pulling Lenny off because of the drugs. Right. But I wasn't doing drugs, so why were they pulling me off the stage? But it was my language. So finally, I just started to do clean material. I shut them up. I said, okay, I'll do clean material. And they shut up. I mean, it was really weird.
So this is what intrigues me. And maybe I'm really fascinated by this.
Me too.
In that the audiences got violent at Lovin' Spoonful and Kingston Trio gigs. Weren't these hippies?
What? Excuse me?
Weren't these hippies at these gigs?
This was this was like 65. So
I mean, weren't these like kind of?
No, they were just ordinary. They were ordinary college kids. The college hadn't totally turned. I was hanging because I was in Greenwich Village and doing all that stuff. All the hippies were gathering in Greenwich Village. So my audience learning the open mic nights were just hippies and folkies. So they accepted anything. Hey, man, the new, blah, blah, blah. But once I got out of New York and just started touring Midwest,
that's right.
The hippies hadn't gotten there yet, or it was very few of them. So, Miles Davis crowd was great. They were just cool jazz people. You could say anything on the stage. They just wanted it to be smart. I mean, Miles wanted me to tour with them. Really? So they just wanted something smart, something intelligent. And I passed that test. So but the Kingston Trio wanted, Norman Rockwell. That's what they wanted.
So you kind of had the same epiphany that George Carlin and Richard Pryor had.
Except I didn't have a lawyer. I didn't have a lawyer. And I didn't have enough money for a lawyer. Right. So once I saw Cops, I did what the cops said, get off the stage. Okay. When a guy came at me with a beer bottle and said, get off the stage, you bet, sir. Boom. And I quit. the bartender said, the bouncer said, get back out there. You got 10 more minutes before the Kingston Trio come on. I said, did you see the guy with the beer bottle, man? He was gonna smash me in the head. He was walking across the dance floor. It was a nightclub,
Right.
Get off the stage. So he says, yeah, I saw him, but get back out there. You got 10 more minutes. I said, I'm not getting out there until you kick him out or at least talk to him. Because if I get out there, he's going to come back. So he says, get out there. So I said, I'm not going out there until you talk to him. So he said, I'm not talking to him. Get out there or you're fired. I said, you can't fire me. I quit. He said, okay, you're fired. And I left. I mean, it was just that's stupid. It was just, there was no rhyme or reason in my mind why cops or people were coming at me with beer bottles. I was talking about sex, drugs, rock and roll, marijuana, no meth. I wasn't talking about heroin. I was talking about marijuana. I was talking about breasts and I don't know what you call it now. Penis, I guess, a cock. I don't know what the fuck you were talking about. But that's what I was. And
you were telling dick jokes, but it was 1965. They weren't ready for it.
I was telling dick jokes in 1965, and I couldn't do that. You're not allowed to do that. Now, I mean, Jon Stewart says that, sitcoms are called dick jokes. Hey, did you see the new sitcoms called dick jokes? Yeah. I mean, you can do that now on television. Right. But back then, so I was either ahead of my time or totally within my time. But in 65, you would get busted for cursing or talking about, I don't know. I mean, so I just quit. I joined Second City. And my manager said, look, they own the theater. The cops can't kick you off the stage. The quote was, they're telling the same jokes as Lenny and Richie and Carlin, but they own the theater, so they can do that. So if you join Second City, you don't have to change anything. Right. But so that's what I did. So I joined.
And from there, in Chicago or New York?
In Chicago. So then from there, 5 of us and a director quit, or some of us were let off because we had 9 people in the company. That's too many people for improv. You have 5 or 6. Right. So 5 of us and the director quit, and we went to San Francisco and opened up the Committe. Now from there, the Committe San Francisco is just 30 in 65, 67. It was a $35 round trip plane fare from LA to San Francisco and back.
Can you imagine
that much money?
That'd be great.
The casting directors would just fly up to San Francisco, check us out, because we were a big hit. We had lines around the block. So they said, oh, wow, to fly to Second City in Chicago is too much money. Same thing up in San Francisco, and they were hiring us. So that's how I became an actor. The money, I didn't want to be an actor. I just thought it was all face acting down there, close-ups. I didn't.
Which you're a master of. You have such a distinctive face.
Yeah, but I don't see me all day. I don't. I don't know what I look like. I find that out from podcasters. But I just.
Yes, I've been staring at your face for the last week.
But I loved improvising. That's what I wanted to do for the rest of my life. Like some people want to be painters. Some people want to be sculptors. I wanted to be an improviser. Some people want to be doctors. I want to be an improviser. And finally, the money was so huge in LA that everybody quit. Basically, everybody in my company in San Francisco that started the thing quit and went down to LA, and they became big stars. Don Sturdy, Howard Hessman,
WKRP,
Johnny Fever. He was in my company. Carl Gottlieb in my company wrote Jaws, man. I mean, that's
the Jerk. And the Jerk. Those 2 of the greatest movies of all time.
Mel Stewart, is big on cop shows. All those people. So those are 1, 2, 3. Right away, there's 3 in my company. And then the director, when he quit to go down to direct TV, that left me, and then everybody went down. And so I had like a 3rd or 4th or 5th generation company from San Francisco, and it wasn't fun anymore. I wanted my friends, come on down, you can couch surf. And so I did, but I don't like being an actor. You have to memorize lines. You have to put on clothes. I mean, we improvised with the clothes we had on,
Exactly.
street clothes. So you had to get in costume and memorize lines and go to audition and drive to the valley. And it interrupted my day. I mean, it's not, I wrote a book about it. It's called That Guy. It's coming out in November or December. I explain the whole thing about, it's called a cautionary tale.
Did you write it with someone or did you write it on your own?
No, I wrote it on my own. It was what I was kind of sort of doing on stage, telling about my life. But when you're an actor, you don't have time you got to be rehearsing or memorizing or going for costume fittings or driving to the valley to get on a sound stage. I mean, it's just interrupting. It's just it's all consuming. I don't like that. I like to just, fuck around, hang out.
You can say fuck around. We encourage.
Well, I know it's just hang out is really the better word. It's just, right. I like to hang out. And when you're an actor, you can't do that. And then also I'm dyslexic and ADHD. So it's just too much. Because dyslexia, I have a tough time memorizing. Now, a lot of actors have dyslexia, but they have the fire in the belly to be an actor. So they have the energy to sit and memorize lines because they want to be an actor. But if you don't want to be an actor, it's ridiculous to try to remember this stuff.
Second City has books. And by the way, I look for you in this, and you're not in it. But,
there's only one picture of me in the entire oeuvre of photos from Second City, and one guy has it's in a book that they sell there, but there's only one picture. And every once in a while, some guy comes up on the internet on Facebook, and he says, "Hey, I got 2 more new pictures," and then he shows. You can scroll up all the pictures he has from Second City, from when Second City first started all the way through to today. And if you scroll through it, which I did to look for me, and yes, there's one. I'm with Del Close. It's me and Del Close.
Right.
I used to, I was in his company.
And Del Close is like the master of improv. Everybody's studied with Del Close.
He was my roommate for a while. It's like a lot of stories about that.
Do you have a story about Del Close? Because he's like a really unsung comedy mentor for everybody.
Well, he joined this. He quit Second City and came to join us. So he was in our company, and he directed for a little while. And then he needed a place to stay, so he roommated with. He was my roommate for a while, for about 2 months. They're all pretty much just okay. I can tell you one story. It's been going around for years, but I think it's true. He was roommating with John Brent, who's another ex-Committe guy. The story goes that they lived in a house together, like a bungalow, but it had a cellar. Not many houses on the West Coast have cellars, but this had a cellar. And so they were getting high together, and he went down to the cellar. Del Close goes down to the cellar, and all of a sudden, this story came from John Brent, who was his roommate. So John Brent says he goes, "Ah!" and there's silence, and then, but he doesn't bother. He doesn't check. He goes, if he's dead down there, I don't want to be the last guy in the room with a dead body. That's what John told me. He said, do not be the last guy in the room with a dead body. That was his wisdom for the ages that he sent me out into the world with. So he didn't go down. He didn't pay any attention to it. He said, whatever's going on with, Del, okay. So about like 5 minutes later, he hears it again. Ah! Nothing. She says, well, okay, he's alive. So he didn't bother. For the third time, he hears it. And then he hears Del come running up, and he says, I found out a magic way to rise off the ground, levitate. I found a way to levitate myself. He says, really? He says, come on down, I'll show you. She says, wow. Okay. So John goes down, and this is what Del does. They're in their pajamas. Del had a robe on, bathroom. So he's walking around in bare feet. And he's down in the cellar. And he says, well, first you have to walk around. And he says, you have to chant this incantation. And he starts chanting this gobbledygook. Now, obviously, he's high and out of his mind. It's obvious. But he's chanting around. He's walking around. And John is sitting on the stairs just watching this. He says, no, watch. I'm going to levitate. And he's walking around. And all of a sudden, and the floor is wet in certain spots. There's a puddle. And as he's walking around, he walks into the puddle with bare feet. And he goes, ah! And he jumps up into the air. And he comes down, and there's a bare electric wire stuck running through the puddle. So what he's doing is electrocuting himself. But he hasn't paid any attention to that. So he said, did you see me? I rose about that high. And he tried to explain to him, there's a fucking wire in the puddle and you stepped in it. It has nothing to do with levitation. But Del wouldn't buy it. He just wouldn't go. So he said, you're gonna kill yourself. He says, so he brought him upstairs. So that's one Del story. There's many like that, but that's the most.
So he was so high he confused levitation with electrocution.
Yeah, he was. But you can get high enough. I hear, I've witnessed, where their magic and reality become one. You just really, and you don't care which is which. And he was there. So that was Del Close story. But that was just, that was just for 2 months.
But I brought out the Second City book because Second City is so revered, and all these people came out.
Well, it ain't all cracked up to, it ain't.
That's what I'm getting at, because the committee was just as influential. We had Tommy Chong on the show, and he said the committee was a seminal influence on Cheech and Chong.
Seminal. They used to come with a fucking tape recorder and tape our shows. Him and Cheech and Chong would sit in the audience with a little suitcase, but it had holes in it, So there was inside. It was a tape recorder, and they would tape our shows, and then we would watch the Smothers Brothers. And they would say, hey man, they're doing the dog thing. That was our show.
So wait a second. Cheech and Chong ripped off the dog bit from the committee?
Yeah, that dog bit. Yes, that's ours. They taped it from our show.
Wow.
And you know about it. Far out. Good for you, man. Mark is dark and cool.
Yeah, but he admitted on the show that the committee was
seminal. Yeah. They used to go. Let me translate for you. We used to steal from the committee. That's what seminal means.
Wow.
So they were barred from the committee. We wouldn't let them in anymore.
Oh, really? So it was like
because after we discovered that, we said, "Fuck, man, our entire show they'll just take on the road." No. So
it was like a Carlos Mencias kind of thing. You knew they were going to steal, so you wouldn't let them in.
And also they would send in, other people with us. But we had a guy at the door because we knew, and we watched the Smothers Brothers show. We saw it. So, we were very alert because our stuff was really funny. Like I say, we had lines around the block. And so once we saw that people are recording our stuff and stealing it, we were on guard about it. So we didn't let it happen again. Not that we knew of. You could,
right?
If you wanted to, you could do it. But
and the other thing about the committee is that the Grateful Dead, before they were named the Grateful Dead, would do shows at the Committee Theater.
The committee. I don't know. The Grateful Dead. Did they perform at the Committee Theater?
I had read that before they
probably. In the beginning
there was a music night, and they would do that.
Yeah, on Monday nights. Monday nights was open committee night, and you could just rent the theater.
Now, when you walk down the street and people stop you, what do they normally stop?
Well, it's gotten better. It's gotten better. In the beginning, they would just assume I was Mr. Heckles. But now they just say, hey, man, hi, or cool, or hey, or just, or nod. That's kind of cool. You know, when they just, yeah. But in the old, it changed about 2 years ago. But up until then, maybe 3 years ago, yeah, I was Mr. Heckles, and then they would expect me to be Mr. Heckles. I don't know.
Right. Well, I mean, you know, you were on. I mean, you've been in Home Alone, Pretty Woman, two of the biggest movies of all time.
203.
Right.
That's what I've been told. I don't follow me, so I don't know. But the podcasters say, hey, here's Larry Hankin. He's been in 203 shows, TV shows and movies.
It says 197 here, but
okay, cool. I'll take it
on IMDb. But it all started when Penny Marshall went to the committee and saw you.
Well, that was when that's how I got an agent. I had been going down. You have done your homework.
No, I know about the softcore porn that you acted in and other.
Oh
things.
My God! Well, then the hardcore. I was in hardcore porn, not as a porn guy.
Right.
I was fully clothed in the hardcore ones and fully clothed in the softcore ones. I was the comic relief. Let me tell you a secret about show business. Nobody comes to see a porno movie to laugh. You were missed, and we.
Before Penny Marshall saw him and he went down in Hollywood, got an agent. He was in a couple of porn movies, but acting in porn movies as the comic relief.
That's awesome.
Yeah, well, here's this is how weird. See, but it's all under the aegis, I guess is the word, of show business. I was a stand-up comedian. I was pulled off by cops. I was in Second City. I was in the committee. I was an actor. I was an improviser. I was in softcore movies. I was in hardcore movies. But it's all show business to me. I'm just a performer. There's no, like kick out the jams and knock down the walls. Somebody told about my head, He says, how do you compartmentalize? I asked this writer once, he's a writer, he's a this. How do you compartmentalize? He says, Larry, you have too many walls in your head. Kick out the jams, knock down the walls. It's all one, man. So that's the way I look at show business. It's porno movie. You want me to what? I don't get naked on camera. Okay.
Sorry to disappoint you, Nicole.
All right.
But I said, here's the weirdest one. And under the aegis of show business, they said, "Okay, we're doing a porno movie. It's a hardcore porno movie out in the valley. This was in San Francisco, in the valley across. They had a valley in San Francisco too, but that was the center of pornography. I mean, in the United States, was across in Sausalito and across the bay. Now it's in the valley here in LA.
Yeah, it's amazing that the porno movies have always been in some sort of valley.
Yeah, well, they try to get as far away but near where cameras are, or a big city. Okay, so they said, well, what do you want me to do? I don't get naked or anything like that. So they said, I'm just a funny guy. So they said, no, we want you in clothes. What we're doing is, this is a wife swapping porno movie. It's about wife swapping. Or partner swapping. It doesn't have to be wife swapping, but swapping. So I said, so what do you want me to do? He said, well, there's one scene where everybody is in the living room of one house, and there's about 10 couples come, and they all swap, and so they're all in one room, or some are in the kitchen, but you can see. So what we want, the whole trope of the narrative is a reporter from the Chronicle, the San Francisco Chronicle, is going to do a newspaper piece on wife swapping. So you're the reporter, and you've come to the wife swapping event that we're making a movie of, and you're going to interview the wife swappers. I said, oh, okay, fine. So you just come dressed with a pad, a pencil, we'll give you a pad, but you're a reporter and you're doing interviews. That's the whole thing. I said, oh, okay, fine. So what do I'm interviewing all of them all at once or one at a time? And they say, well, no, they'll all be fucking in one room, and you'll be. I'm interviewing them while they're fucking? Yeah. Okay. I mean, just that idea, and you're going to film this? Yeah.
Very high concept.
Yeah. So I go, okay. I mean, I just want to see this. I want to be part of this. I want to be part of. So I got dressed in, regular. I had a jacket on, a tie, and a shirt, and pants, and shoes and socks. And I go in, and they go, okay. And I walk into this house. It's a regular house out in, in a neighborhood. And I go in, and you see a lot of cars parked in the driveway and stuff, all the actors and actresses. I go in, and they say, yeah, go right in there. Here's your pad, here's your pencil. They give me a pencil and pad. I go in, and there's a room full of, and there's a couple fucking on the couch, somebody's fucking in a chair here, there's two people on the floor, there's a couple on the table over there fucking. It's about 1, 2, 3, it's about 6 or 7 couple that I can see. And they're all doing the beast with 2 backs. And so he says, no. So the director says, okay, so just go to the couples and just interview them. And they have a mic on me. And, so, yeah, hi. And, he goes, huh? Yeah, well, no. Are you married to her? No, I'm married to her over there. And who do you? No, that's him over there. And I'm going from couple to couple and and then I do all 6 couples, interview them. And I was serious, and how did you come to how did you join? And do you enjoy that? Blah, blah, blah. And then I say, okay. And he says, good, great, thank you. And I said, you're dismissed. Let's give Larry a big hand. He said, okay, goodbye, thank you very much.
That's a wrap.
That's a wrap. Larry's wrapped. And I went off. And to this day, I've always wanted to see that movie. I disappeared. I don't know the name of it. I've never seen it. I want to see that. I want that to be, I want on my tombstone a television set playing that scene on my tombstone.
I want to see it too. It combines some of my favorite things: journalism, sex, and Larry Hankin.
Larry Hankin. You can't beat that combination. So I mean, that's I've done it all, man. After that, I've done it all.
But that seemed to be like, I guess that was the thing in the 70s, because Stallone did a porn, Spalding Gray did a porn. Like, there's a lot.
Well, I mean, it's money, man. We were all starving. Come on, it's show business. That's all it is. We're performers.
All show business, yeah.
It's all show business. It's just performing. That's why I could do, Second City, the Committe, stand-up, acting, improv. I did a stage show. I did, what do you call it? Summer stock. I did summer stock. I did it all.
You've done poetry. You've got a CD.
I was a member of the poetry battalion in San Francisco. I did poetry slams up there. I mean, as long as it's a performance. As long as it's the performance, I'll do it.
Now, Nicole, I got to bring you back in the conversation.
Yes.
What do you know Larry from? Obviously, you've seen. Everybody sees his face.
Seinfeld.
Like, I know him. What's that?
Seinfeld.
Right.
Seinfeld. Tom Pepper.
People know the character's name. I mean, they really like.
It's amazing. Yes, it is amazing, because the people who I meet who are fans of mine, at least, they know the whole thing. I mean, it's unbelievable. I don't follow anybody that closely, and I don't understand fans. There's people who follow me or other people. Like I'm a big, I guess, a fan, quote unquote, of Lenny Bruce, of George Carlin, of Richie Pryor, of Joe Coy, of Bill Burr, and other stand-up comedians.
Sure.
I like certain, Bryan Cranston, Aaron Paul. I like it, but I'm not a fan. Or I used to go to meetings or things for fans to see their
conventions.
Conventions, and I don't understand their attitude, their awe, their I went to the a closing night for Breaking Bad. So it was in I don't know, it was in Burbank or where it was.
The premiere of the movie, or
it was a premiere or a closing night or something, you know, a big thing. It was for Breaking Bad. So there's, you know, Aaron Paul and Bryan Cranston and me and all the other character actors. But the fans were lined up behind a cordon. You know, it was roped off, and they're yelling and screaming, and they have, you know, pens and paper, blank paper. Sign this, and they're crazy. Now they're about 18 or 19, some are 16, but some are like 24 or 30. You know, I mean, you should outgrow that. So there's a certain part of it I don't understand. That, hey, you know. I've been at parties because I'm in LA and I'm an actor and I get invited to these parties where Bryan Cranston is or Sylvester Stallone is, but I don't go running up to them and go, ah. Right. You know, just, you know, hey, how you doing? You know, as a matter of fact, I'm
get uninvited to those parties.
What? So who? What?
I said that'd be a quick way to get uninvited to those parties.
Well, exactly. But it seems to me that oh, well, this is normal. In other words, there are a lot of people here. I'm big, well, I don't know if you say fan. I don't want to mix it up with fan, which is short for fanatic, you know. So, but I'm a follower of these people. And, you know, when I see somebody on the street that's famous because I'm in LA and they walk around. And here's the other thing. It happened to me once. One time I was a fanatic, and it stopped me from being a fanatic for the rest of my life. I was about 20. I was walking in New York City on the Upper West Side, right near Fifth Avenue, near the Central Park. So there's a lot of, you know, penthouses and stuff. So there would be famous people walking around in that neighborhood. And I was just walking around, and I saw. Oh man, I saw a really famous actor who is an elder actor now. He had white hair, but he did a lot of stunts and a lot of action adventure things. But he was very famous. I can't remember his name now. It'll occur to me. But anyway, I saw him walking with a lady out of a penthouse apartment. You know, he's walking out. He's about a half a block away, and I saw him, and oh my God, I said to my friend, oh my God, there's blah, blah, blah. And I ran towards him. And he was walking away. So we're coming up from behind. And I was running as fast as I can because he was going to turn the corner. I didn't want to lose him. So I was running as fast as I can. And as soon as I got kind of near, he heard the, you know, bum, 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 somebody running towards him. And he turned around, and as I ran towards him, the horror on his face, he thought I was going to kill him. I mean, he thought I was that kind of person, you know, running up and bang and shoot him.
Oh wow!
And the horror on his face. He goes, "No!" He went like this, "No!" And I stopped and whoa! And I said, "Oh man!" And I said, "Hey man, I'm really sorry." And I realized what I had just done. And he said, "Don't you ever do that again, man. Run up to somebody like that." And he said it very quietly. And I thought, okay. And that was it. I saw the look on his face, and I got, man, I was crazy. I mean, I don't blame him for being.
I understand.
So that's why when I see fans, I go, what is wrong with you? You know, calm down. Because and then nowadays it's real. Now they're not looking for no.
Yeah. I walked by Angelina Jolie on the street a couple weeks ago, and everybody's like, "Oh, did you go up to her? Did you talk to her?" She's with her daughter. I just walked by her. I've actually gone up to celebrities and regretted it because I went up to one of the Martin Gore from Depeche Mode in a goth club once. Said hi to him. Said I was a big fan. It was very respectful. But I immediately regretted it because the whole bar just converged on him and he had to leave.
Oh,
and I felt so bad that I was the one that did it. So
you can't. But they don't think. You know, I mean, I speak out against it, but you know, when confronted with a fan for somebody else, I mean, or somebody like, you know, I don't put them down. I just try to talk them out of their behavior. But so it's really weird. And then on the other hand, they support you. They're the ones who come to see the movie or the stand up or or buy the shirt or the whatever. So you got to be careful. But it's a weird business. Show business is a weird business. You don't get fans like that.
It really is. Speaking of weird business, is that the Tom Pepper character from Seinfeld, which basically you were playing an actor playing Kramer.
I try to explain that in the book. The removal of the removal, right? Playing a character of a guy who is a friend, who is playing a character who's over the top, but you can't play it over the top. You got to be real and make it funny. It's whoa. I love the challenge. I mean, I just wanted to do that so bad, man.
But the ironic thing is, you auditioned for Kramer against Michael Richards, and he got the part.
Right. But
originally the actor part.
But I'm glad that Richard got it, because he did. I go under, he goes over.
Right.
So they picked the right guy.
Yeah, he overplays, you underplay.
So,
but you guys, I've heard you on interviews say that you guys used to audition for the same role a lot.
Yeah, makes sense. Because we kind of look alike, and we played brothers on a sitcom once. We robbed a restaurant on a sitcom. The sitcom was about a restaurant, so that was the set. The permanent set was a restaurant, and we came in and we robbed the place, and we were brothers, and so we knew each other for years. Michael, recommended me to be Kramer. Hey, I know he looks like me. He can do it. He's a funny guy, but I don't know.
What I understand, Larry David wanted you because you look more like the real Kramer did.
Yeah, but Kramer, the powers that be, the CEOs at, I guess, ABC or ABC, I don't know, NBC, whatever. No, they want over the top people for sitcoms. I mean, they even say that. If you're over the top, a friend of mine went over the top as an audition just for the hell of it, not because it was right for the part. Oh, Don Sturdy, Howard Hessman, Don Sturdy. That's my friend. That's what I call him. That's what we call each other. But Howard Hessman, when he auditioned for
WKRP,
Johnny Fever was I think the name. When he auditioned for Johnny Fever, he said he just went way over the top, bigger than Kramer ever did coming through the door. Just for the hell of it, just fuck all. I mean, and they hired him because of that.
Wow.
They said, and it was just a 1-day part. He just auditioned Johnny Fever for a 1-day part. And when he did that, he just went bizarre, wow, blah, blah, blah. And they said, no, that's a regular. The CEO said to the writer, that's not a 1-day part. He's a regular.
So would your advice to aspiring actors be to go over, go more than
here's what Robert De Niro said about that. He said, go into an audition, because somebody asked him, the interviewer asked him, how do you audition? When you used to audition, what was in your mind? How did you go in for the mindset? He said, go in thinking you're not going to get the part. So the interviewer said, what? That's crazy. He said, hey, man, takes all the pressure off. No pressure. He says, and then go in and do whatever you want. Those are the 2 words from De Niro. Go in like you're not going to get the part and do whatever you want. Fuck the director, fuck what they want, fuck the writing. Just go in and do it. He said, were you ever nervous about it? He said, no, never. I never thought I would get the part, so I just did what I wanted to do. He said, were you ever scared that you would never get another job? Nope. There's always another job. I mean, you gotta have a mind full of brass balls. You just can't. You can't think negatively if you want to be an actor.
So don't try to appease them. Have fun.
You have to be strong, man. And I never was. I didn't never want to be an actor. So I would just So I just would go in and do what I wanted anyway because I didn't want to be an actor. So I would get the parts. But I didn't know that was a secret thing that Robert De Niro was using. I just didn't care, which was a way of saying I'm not going to get the part.
Nicole, I've been doing it all wrong. I've been trying to get the parts.
Yeah, happened, Mark. You got to go in there with less confidence.
If you try to get the part, man, you're dead. I mean, you may get the part because you're trying to get the part, and maybe. See, here's the thing. Well, my agent told me this. He said, when you go in, I kind of forget what he told me, but it was something about how to audition, what the mindset is. And I guess it was kind of the same as De Niro's, though. Right. Really, you can't care about it. You can't. And here's a thing. I was just talking to a casting director's assistant, and I said, what's the secret? What's the casting? What are they looking for? Never mind what I want to do. What are they looking for? And she said, they're looking for somebody who they want to hang out with. They want to see you. They don't want to. They want to. It's like Norman Rockwell. It's like Norman Rockwell. And I guess if like Johnny Phoebe, you just do it too much, or like Kramer over the top. Yeah, I'd like to hang out with that guy. He's a crazy kind of guy. And also the audience is liking. So but I guess the bottom line is you can't pay attention to what you're doing. Auditioning. I guess that's a secret. Just go in and do what you want. But I mean, don't make it an audition. That's, I guess, what both sides are saying. Don't make it an audition because then you're nervous and you're trying to please people. And casting directors don't like people who are trying to please them. That's not the whole point of acting.
But even when you get on the set, you kind of do what you want.
Hey, here's the thing. Okay, I'll give you a perfect example of what I'm talking about. My last job was Barry, big show, great hit. I wanted to be on that because I wanted to be on it because I like
Bill Hader.
Who directed?
Bill Hader.
Yeah, Bill Hader. I love him. I think he's great. Whatever he does, I buy him totally.
Fantastic.
Direct, write, act, be funny, be serious. I buy Bill Hader. Okay. So because I like Bill Hader and he doesn't fuck with me. He's always something there that like, I guess what people like about me on the screen, I'm not trying to make you like me, but they always remember. I just go in and be me. Okay, so I'm doing Bill Hader. They say, we want you to do a Russian hitman. Can you do a Russian accent? I say yes, because you just say yes. You just always say yes. Can you ride a horse? Yes. Can you take a bullet? Yes. Whatever. And I said, okay. So they said, would you mind if we had a Russian coach, speech coach there to check your Russian accent? And I go, oh, that would be great. Thank you. Because I can't do a Russian accent. I can do improv Russian accent, comedy Russian accent. That I can do. But that's not, you got to keep it real on Hader, for Barry. So I said, because you're a real Russian and you're a real Russian hitman. So I said, okay. So I show up and I rehearsed and I even did a backstory and everything. I mean, I was serious because it's Bill Hader and it's a good show. I mean, I like the show. So I did my homework, try to be an actor. So I get on the show and I'm looking for the Russian coach and nobody knows where they are. He or she or whatever. Do you know? And I'm getting nervous because I got to talk to him or her before I'm ready to go on. I only have 2 hours. You're up in 2 hours.
Right.
Okay. I can't find it. And then the guy, you're up. You're seen. So I go, oh my God. All right. So I have to do my comedy accent. So, I think, maybe Bill say you can't do that, and maybe he'll give me help. I mean, Hader is a really good actor, so he can help me. But he's directing. So I get on the thing and I'm doing my Russian accent, and Hader isn't saying a word to me. He's talking to everybody else. He's talking to the other actor, but he's not talking to me. He's almost ignoring me. I go through the whole day. We shoot the whole day in my scene, being a hitman. I'm doing my comedy accent. And finally he says, okay, Larry's dismissed, and it's over. You know, let's give him a hand. Okay, Larry's dismissed. So I go to change. And as I'm coming out in my street clothes, his partner, Bill Hader's partner, who he writes with, who's always on the set with him, they direct together, kind of. He calls me over and he says, hey, Larry, I'm going to TV Village to watch your scene replay. You want to go see it? I go, yeah, let me go see it. Because I didn't know what I was doing and nobody would help me. Nobody spoke to me the entire day while I was on the set acting. So I go over and I watch my scene, and it's pretty good, you know. And there's this woman watching with me and him. And I say to her, what do you think? And she says, yeah, it's pretty good. And she says, do you know where I said to her, I said, do you know where the Russian coach is? And she says, I'm the Russian coach. You are? Did you watch the scene while I was acting? She says, yeah. I says, well, I was looking all over for you. You know, I was doing a comedy. How was that? She says, it was fine. It was a regular Russian accent. I go, oh, thank you. So I go over to Bill now that I have confidence that I didn't fuck up. I go over to Bill and I said, can I talk to you for a second? He goes, oh, yeah, you know, what do you want? This is the first time he's talked to me since I did the scene. All he said was, Larry's dismissed. Thank you, Larry. And I leave. I come up and I said, yeah. He says, yeah, sure, what? I said, hey, man, you know, I was doing the entire scene the whole day. I was, and you didn't speak to me once the whole time. You would speak to the other actor and telling him what to do. But why? Was it something? Why didn't you speak to me? I really needed help, is why I'm asking. And he says, you did? Yeah. He said, that's really weird, because me and my partner were watching you do the scene of Stovka, and we didn't write the scene the way you were doing it at all. But it was so great that we didn't know where you were coming from. So I didn't know what to tell you because I didn't know what you were doing. But it was fine. Thank you very much. So there's the thing about auditioning and going in with what you know, or what you want to do. And don't worry about it being an audition. That kills it right there. And that's what De Niro was trying to say, and that was what my manager was trying to say.
I thought maybe Bill Hader was scared to talk to you because you.
That's what I thought.
He probably heard that you told Adam Sandler to go fuck himself on BIlly Madison.
I didn't use those words, but that's what I thought.
You remember Larry and BIlly Madison, Nicole?
It's been a long time, but yes, I remember.
Carl
and BIlly Madison.
Yeah, well, there was a lot of problems on that show with me. I'm hard to get along with. If you fuck with me, I'm going to fuck back with you. I mean, I don't care who you are. And he was fucking with me. And it was
his first starring movie. Maybe he got a little power hungry, a little big head.
Yes, no, and I don't blame him. I mean, years go by, and I think back on it, and I say, well, he was probably incredibly nervous. It was his first big movie, and he was, and he's a control freak to begin with. But there's one actor. Oh man, who's everybody's favorite actor? But he was doing a movie. Not as recently. The last year or two, and he was directing or helping direct, and this actor said, Adam Sandler came up to him with line changes. He said, "Oh, we've changed the scene," and this actor has dyslexia. He didn't mention it to anybody, but he does have dyslexia. So Adam Sandler came up to him with the line changes, different speech, a small speech. He came, he says, here's the new lines for this scene. And the actor, who's a very famous actor, man, I'm very bad with names, but he said, too late. I've got the old lines memorized already. And Adam said, yeah, but you got to memorize this. I said, it's too late. I've got the other lines memorized. And he said, yeah, but we changed those. He says, I don't care. I've got those memorized. I'm not memorizing new lines. And Adam just had to take it. He said, oh, okay. And had to rewrite the entire scene to fit this guy's memorized lines that they had already changed in the rewrite. So, yeah, I mean, every once in a while, he'll hit a wall. Now, that was a big actor who he couldn't fuck around with.
Like maybe a Harvey
Keitel. No, and that was it. You go away. And Adam went away. With me, he fucked with me and played with, and I finally fell for it. In other words, he was playing head games with me. And
he was crank calling you and...
No, what he did was he pulled me over during lunch, and he said, do the mouse thing. It was a thing that I did in high school for laughs. I mean, it was something that's so childish and stupid. I will never do it again, or I've never done it again, ever, since that one take. But anyway, during lunch, he said, there's a mouse thing you do, an imitation of a mouse. What is that? And I said, where the hell did you even hear about that? That's something I did in high school. He said, well, let me see it. I hear it's funny. I said, I don't want to. Now, this is during lunch. We're sitting at a lunch table. He called me over from my lunch table to his CEO's lunch table. And I sit down, he goes, what, do the mouse thing? I said, no, it's stupid. He's like, come on. So he's like cajoling me. He's not being, angry or pulling any, I'm the boss thing. He says, come on, Larry. He's being my friend. Hey, come on, Larry, just do it, No, just do it. Just once. Just just between me and you. Just do it for here. Okay. So he said, okay, will you leave me alone? Because my lunch is getting cold over there, and I just want to get back to eating. And this is bothering me, man. This is my lunch hour. Leave me alone. He said, well, just do it. I said, if I do it, will you just leave me alone? He says, yes. So I did it. And the table laughed, So I said, okay, can I go? I'm leaving now. Goodbye. And I went back to my lunch. Okay. Now I'm doing the scene in the afternoon. Mm-hmm. And in the middle of the scene is where he's introducing me to his girlfriend. Hey, wait, they're in the back, in this house.
You interrupt his kiss, I think, or something like that.
Yeah, no, he says, no, this is my girlfriend. This is my girlfriend. This is Carl, and he's introducing me. And then in the middle of the scene, and the first take, he says, this is like, and he goes, Carl, this is blah, 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 blah. This is Carl. Carl, do the mouse thing for her.
Oh my God.
And I knew the camera was running, and I was very young and very naive then, and the camera, so I didn't want to fuck up the shot. So I just automatically, because I'm an improviser, and you get suggestions from the audience all the time. You just have to do it like that. So I figured I'm on stage. There's a suggestion, do the mouth thing. I just did it automatically without thinking. I just went boom. I did the thing. She kind of laughed, and then he went on with the scene. And I was steaming and I was cursing myself for falling for it, but I did the scene. I finished, said, cut. And then Adam said, okay, let's just move on, because he knew I wouldn't fall for it again. So they had it in the can. They moved on. And when I saw the movie, there it is.
People have been loving that for 25 years.
I've hated it for 25 years. But the only thing I can say to save my own head is I didn't do a full mouse. I did a half a mouse. I didn't do the whole thing full out. I did it full out at the table, but I had enough sense in the middle of doing it to say, hey, wait a minute, he's fucking with me on camera. And I kind of stopped in the middle. And so I just let it there. So I can.
When people come up to you, and I'm sure they have, I mean, it's on YouTube all over the place. When people come up to you and say, I love when you did that mouse thing at BIlly Madison, What do you say?
People, see, that was the old thing. They would come up to me and say, "Oh, hey, it's I don't know, Carl. It's Carl from BIlly Madison. You know, do the mouse thing." That's what they say to me on the street. And
I'm so sorry.
No. Oh, I'm so sorry. No, I don't say that.
Okay.
I say no. Why? You know, why do you? What do you think? Wait a minute. Are you a producer? You have money on you?
Yeah, pay me.
No, I work for money. I'm a performer. You know, no, I would love to say that, but no, I just say, hey, man, no, I don't do that. No.
Well, it seems so out of character for Adam Sandler to like something that's childish and stupid.
Hey, wah, wah. Yeah.
But, speaking of something that's not, go ahead, Nicole. You were going to say something?
Oh, no.
I was going to say, like I said, you've been in so many things that just became such sensations, including Janet Jackson's
a little cameo roles. A little cameo.
Well, this is another cameo in that Janet Jackson's first big hit video.
Oh my
What
God!
Have you done for me lately with Larry Hankin?
Yeah, what have you done for me lately?
Janet Jackson becoming a superstar.
Yeah, that happened just because the woman who did the costume for that shoot, for Janet Jackson's shoot, did the costumes previous to that, about a year before Janet Jackson's costume thing. The woman who did the costume did the costume for my film short Sally's Diner, which got an Academy Award nomination.
Right.
So when she got that job, she called me and she said, "Larry, you're an actor, and they need somebody to be in the background for a Janet Jackson shoot that I'm doing the costumes for. You did me a favor and hired me for your movie. Why don't you come in and just do it? You don't have to audition. Just come in and say you'll do it. They know who you are. You know, I've told them, you know, what you've been in." So they said, "Yeah, fine." So it was just because the costume lady.
I didn't know there was a Sally's Diner connection because they're both set in diners.
Well, maybe that's why they hired her for the costume. She did a costume for a diner, do a costume design for this diner. I never thought about it until just now. You just told me. Yeah, it's both diners. What a connection.
And it's interesting. Now, is it difficult? Because there's a scene where you're sweeping in the background and everybody's dancing in front. Is it difficult to not dance and not follow the rhythm while you're sweeping while everybody else is dancing?
No, I just do my own thing.
Right. And
I've been in movies enough to know to just ignore everything going on around you. Just, you know, my area of concentration is just about an arm's length.
Right.
You know, that's the reality.
I was just gonna say you were very memorable in it, even though it was just like a music video. Your characters shine through. That's
really weird. I thank you very much. But there's nothing I do consciously that is even near what you just said about making myself seen in anything that I do. Once I get on the set and I move into the light of the frame. I mean, once I move into the frame, whether it's rehearsal or the shoot, I just, and maybe it's something within all actors or within me, I just drop everything that is not within the circle of light. I mean, it just doesn't exist. I don't see it. I don't know what's going on. I don't see beyond the reality of the other actors, and they're real. They're not acting. That's nothing. I don't have to prepare for that. I have to prepare for my memorization. That's what, and maybe because I'm trying to figure it out right in front of you. I mean, maybe because I have a hard time memorizing, so I'm so locked into just memorizing my lines, keeping my lines straight, that I don't have time to show off me. Mm-hmm. So what you see is just me. And meanwhile, I'm just trying to get my lines straight or what I have to do in the scene. I'm supposed to sweep the floor. Sweep the fucking floor, Larry. Forget, you know, what
There's
Janet
20 people
is doing
dancing around you.
You know, I don't do that. Now, that's what actors do. Mm-hmm. But that's what Larry does. Not because I'm an actor. That's because I'm Larry. So maybe that concentration is what bleeds through to making people notice me. But people,
I think you might be right. Yeah, I think you might be right. I think that might be the key to it.
I think so, because when I don't have any lines, I'm not as good an actor. Now,
I don't know about that.
Well,
in the video, one of the funniest parts of the video is Janet Jackson is dancing by herself.
Right.
You're in the background. You're polishing.
But it's Janet Jackson, and the Jackson 5 minus Michael are standing over there watching their sister.
Really? So all the Jacksons are there watching you?
Except Michael. Michael didn't show up. He sent his regards. But the Jackson 5 were there, and I thought they're watching her. And here's my thought. The entire time I was there, when I saw that, oh, the Jackson 5 are here. Oh, the Jackson 4 are here. And Janet is here. So I did notice, I said, wow, these are the most famous people in the world right now.
Right. It was like mid-80s.
The big kahuna. But I thought, how nice it would be for friends to show up, to just give her the energy to, hey, because that's what they were doing. Anything she did, hey, Janet, great. Yeah. And then she'd come over and talk to them, and they'd say, no, that's great. You're doing great.
Jermaine and Tito and all of them were there to support her.
Yeah. And I thought that was so cool. I mean, that's what really was going through my mind the entire shoot, more than what I had to do or Janet, was the fact that 4 brothers showed up, and they were really famous, took the time off to come down to this small little shoot. She wasn't famous yet, about to be famous. And they were really like brothers. They weren't like, fans or, professionally for her. They were just family. And I thought, man, that is so cool. You always want that. So maybe that. No, as far as, because they didn't have any lines, yeah, but I was concentrating on what I had to do. The family thing, yes, that was always, because you never see that in movies. That was the only time I've ever seen families there, for an actor or an actress going, and they would come up, was that cool? And they go, no, you're doing fine. Get back in there, yeah. A lot of hand signals.
That's great.
It's great.
But I've got so many more questions, but we only have a little bit more time. Because I watched Escape from Alcatraz for the first time since I was a kid.
Oh, my best part. That's the best part. The best acting I've ever done. I was acting, and I can't do any better than that.
But it struck me, and I went online, and I'm not the only one. There's a lot of similarities between that movie and The Shawshank Redemption. That's on purpose. They were like Cheech and Chong ripped off the Committe. You think Shawshank Redemption ripped off Escape from Alcatraz?
No, they ripped off prison movies. There is a genre of prison movies that is more like horror movies than any other kind, in that there is a form within which you have to make the movie. Like there's a set formula for horror that you have to have this and this and this and this.
But I mean, there's a scene where they feed a mouse under the table. I mean, there's a lot of,
and really it was written by a first-time director, Tuggles. I forgot his first name. Tuggles, Richard Tuggles. He was the first-time writer. He lived in San Diego. He didn't know anything about acting or writing. He just thought he'd write a screenplay. He wrote a screenplay. It was rejected 2 or 3 times, and then he gave it to Don Siegel. I believe it was Don Siegel who wrote that, right? Who directed that?
Don Siegel,
and Don Siegel wanted to do another prison movie because he did black and white prison movies, and he thought, right on. So he did a prison movie in the genre of prison movies, and Shawshank Redemption just stole a lot from a lot of different way back. I mean, they were professional writers, and they just knew the genre. So they stole.
But there are some scenes that are like exact. Digging in, but
no. They are standing on the shoulders of giants. We don't steal in the arts. We stand on the shoulders of giants.
Well, speaking of giants, I mean, you're 6'4". Your height is always, something that stands out. But I was looking at scenes, and I don't know how tall Clint Eastwood is.
Robin Williams steals.
Right. He did steal, but he was brilliant. But I was watching some scenes, and is it forced perspective, or is Clint Eastwood really that tall? Because there were scenes where it appeared that he was taller than you. He can't be taller than you.
We never even thought about that. I never even noticed it. That's interesting in its own right. No, I mean, he didn't stand on a box. I didn't stand on a box. We were just standing together. But he is tall, so he's about as tall as me.
6'2" or something.
What?
Is he as tall as you, or is it?
He's tall as me.
He's big.
That's why he's a star of all these movies, because he's tall. I couldn't get jobs a lot in the beginning because I was taller than the star, and they wouldn't hire me. I said, I should have got that. Why not? Hey, you were taller than the star.
But and you actually, they actually filmed in the prison Alcatraz, which at that time had been closed for about 10, 15 years. And you had
it was open to tourists.
Right. But they didn't have actual prisoners there.
No, but it was, whoa. The story of that, making that movie could be a book in itself. There was a fight going on. The tension there was incredible between the Smokies. The Smokies were the park rangers, the official park ranger guides to the tourists. They wore the Smoky hats.
Right.
They were official park rangers, and they were tour guides. And they were official, working for the state and the government. And they did the tours, and they had all the knowledge of who was where in the history of Alcatraz, and they would take the tours through. But we were shooting there while they were taking tours. So the rule was tours took precedent. The government allowed us. Allowed us.
Well, Larry Hankin and Clint Eastwood.
Allow me and Clint to shoot there, but we could not interrupt the tours. So as best they could, they picked places where we were shooting that they didn't take tours through. Okay. But sometimes there were tours coming through. But the rule was that we had to stop whatever we were doing, even if it was in the middle of a shot, exposing film. They had to stop, shut down, move away, let the tour come through. If they had to stand there and listen to a tour guide talk about the cell or whatever, we had to just wait until they left and then go back and start all over again, blah, blah, blah.
Really?
Wow.
So that was the rule. Yeah. And we were trying to do it, but after we were there for 3 months, and after about a month, the director and the crew and the production company just were getting pissed about the tours. Even though it was rare and random, it was still getting in the way. And, movies are not used to being told what to do. They pay to be the boss. They pay big bucks to rent this entire street and all the houses in it. We'll pay off everybody. But they couldn't pay off the state or the government. So we started to argue, well, we're not going to move. We're going to just keep shooting. You're going to have to wait. Well, when the Smokies heard that, we have to wait for Clint Eastwood? Boom. And they went to the state. So the state moved in and said, look, we're going to kick you off the island unless you stop fucking with the tours. So what the Smokies did when they heard that the state was behind them was they now started steering all the tours through our sets.
Oh, man.
Every time we started a shoot, here comes a tour. And we had to stop because the state had said, hey, man, we'll kick you off. So finally, they shut down for 2 days. They shut down. For a movie to shut down for 2 days, especially a tentpole movie like that, thousands of dollars, hundreds of thousands of dollars.
You got to still pay everybody.
So what happened was they came to an agreement, and they met, the state and the producers. And so we had to move our shoot to sections of the prison where there were no tours ever. So that was the compromise. So when we started up again after 2 days, it was a whole different section. And then Yeah, so that was the big thing. There was a fight that because and the upshot of all that was that what really pissed off the Smokies, really got them, because they were steeped in the tradition of Alcatraz and giving these tours for years, and they knew everything. And sometimes they made up shit, which is another story I'll tell you. In other words, you listen to a tour, and this guy is not saying what that guy said about this cell. And then tour, and then this guy's saying something different. So they were making it up, the tour guides.
Right.
And we were the only ones who were there to see all the spiels. So we were the, so that was that thing. So I know that, that was the whole.
I'm just picturing people on the tour like, this cell is where.
Good. You're going
where Al Capone is. Oh, that's right. Clint Eastwood. And going
right. They didn't like that. The Smokies. The tour started to want to know where Clint Eastwood's cell was. And that really pissed off the Smokies because they stopped asking where Al Capone's cell was. And then that, they had a whole speech about Al Capone and blah, blah, blah. And they said, where's the Clint Eastwood? Are you going to take us where they're shooting the movies? Are we going to see them shooting the movie? Oh, man. Oh, that's when they called the state in. Hey, we don't like them fucking around. Yeah, it was, but in the same way that Janet Jackson thing, you just made me think of it just now. But in the same way that Clint and Don Siegel were my family, right. and they were always for me, and that's why I acted so well. Now, I believe that's my best acting I ever did. Wow. Was Don Siegel would always say, "Hey, get in this shot." There's a lot of shots of me that I'm not in the script.
Right,
Charlie Butts. He would just say, "Get in there." Why? I need a body in there. Get in there. What am I doing? I don't care what you're doing. Just get in there. Because I would always.
I think that might have been at the expense of Fred Ward because his character, and he became a great actor, but it was one of his first movies too, and he's in The Escape, but he's not in the movie near as much as you.
But he had a really important part, and he was hired as a co-star.
Right.
With the other guy.
Right.
I was just hired as a day player. Well, no, I was hired for 3 months, but really I was only in like 6 scenes in the script. But I was hired for the month because they didn't know where they were going to use me. And Don Siegel liked my audition because we just talked. And I didn't like Don Siegel's attitude towards me. He spoke to me like I was only a day player. And I didn't like being talked that way. Like you just, we don't know what part you're here for. What part do you want to do? Do you want to do the guard? Do you want to do Charlie Butts? And all I would say was, I don't know because nobody's given me a part. I haven't read anything. I don't know what the movie is about. And I would say it with the attitude I just did. I don't know because nobody's given me anything. So what are you asking me what part I want to do? I don't know. And he liked that. He liked that because he hired me.
Once again, so you're somebody you want to hang with.
Well, yeah, because I was totally naive it was my first big movie. So I didn't know about auditions or being an actor or anything. And he sensed that right away. He said, this guy doesn't know what the hell's going on. He said,
you're really the heart and soul of the movie.
Well, he said to me, like this, he goes, what part do you want to do? Because he said, why are you here? I said, I don't know. They told me, my manager said that you would have the part for me. And then I showed him a script and he said, I was out there. I was the only guy here. I'm the only guy here auditioning. There's nobody else here. And they gave me a script. I can't read this script. It's 90 pages. And you want me to audition? And you're asking, this is what I did. Don Siegel, the director. I said, and you're asking me if I want to be Charlie Butts or the warden? I don't know. So, and then I just shut up. And he just stared at me and he says, okay. He says to the cat, there was only just three of us in a room. There's him, the casting director, and me. And he goes, okay, all right. And he says, calm down. He says, what do we have for Larry? And he just mentions my name. And he goes, well, we have the warden and we have, we have the guard and we have the Charlie Butts. I don't know who Charlie Butts is. So he goes, well, do you want to do, what about the guard? You want to do the guard? I don't know. I haven't read it. What is it? And then she said, and she has the script with her. And she points the script to him and he says, he can't do it. He can't do the guard. And he goes, why not? He says, the guard, this is the guard that beats him up in solitary. So he looks at me, he says, very seriously, he said, do you think you can beat up Clint Eastwood? No. Yeah, and I don't think so either. Yeah, he can't do the guard. What about Charlie Butts? I don't know. I don't know what Charlie Butts does. Okay. Give me the script. He takes her script. He says, turn to page 98 or 78, page 78. So I go, because I have the script. He sees I have the script. I haven't read it. They just handed it to me as I walked in the door. Okay, so he said, okay, it's just one page. I'll read with you. It's just one page. That's all. Just read page 78 with me. Charlie Butts, I'll be, I don't know who it was, the warden or Clint or I don't know. So I'll read with you. And then he says to me, now he's very casual. This is now all conversational. He says, you want to go outside and, rehearse for a while, read it over, or you want to do it now? I said, no, now, because now I want to just get out of there. I thought this whole thing was stupid. They're putting me on. I don't want to be here. I don't like the way they're running this. This is not any kind of audition I've ever been in, where you rehearse, they send you the pages, blah, blah. So I said, no, let's just do it. My next words were going to be, I want to get out of here. But I just said, no, let's just do it. So he says, okay, all right, I'll start. Blah, 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 blah. Okay. Here, hands the script back. He says, okay, you got the job. I sat there and I go, and I didn't say anything. I just stared at him. Because I'm thinking, you're just playing head games. He says, you don't believe me, do you? I go, no, I don't. Because they never tell you. They never tell you you got the job in there. As long as I've been an actor, 50 years, never talked to other actors, never. He says, you got the job. I just sit there. He goes, you don't believe me, do you? He said, no, I don't. He said, tell you what, get out of here, go home, sit by the phone, see what happens. Now get out of here. He waves me away, like with a little smirk. Get out of here. I says, that's it? That's it. Okay, and I left. That was the audition. When I saw the movie, the cast and crew movie, I had co-star billing. They gave me that. I wasn't signed up for that. They didn't manage me for that. That's not in my contract. I was just hired for 3 months as a day player or the equivalent of a day player.
You ended up with the biggest role besides Clint Eastwood.
That I don't know. To this day, I don't know. I watched it about a month ago, and it's a great movie. I liked what I did, but it's a great movie, so I have nothing to do with that. Don Siegel directed a great movie. I was in it enough to give me co-star billing, but it was only because I would go in every day for 3 months. I think I missed like maybe 5 days in the 3 months in costume, blue shirt, jeans, and black shoes with white socks. I went in every day and I would just stand by the camera and watch. And every day, somehow, Don Siegel would say, Larry, get in there. Why? What am I doing? I don't know. Just get in there. I need another body in the shot. Like one day he says to me, it was McGowan and Eastwood they're talking to each other. It's a tight close up. It's a choker. They're talking to one another. It's profiles in front of Clint Eastwood's cell. Now, my cell was next to Clint Eastwood's cell, so it didn't matter whose cell they shot in front of. All the cells looked the same. So they're in front of my shot, and the camera is hanging out over the railing because it's, you know, it's a cell block C. We're up above. There's a 3-story drop off, and they got the camera hanging that way. They're shooting into the cell. So they're facing each other, and they're shooting into the cell. So Don Siegel says, "Hankin, get in the cell." And I said, "Why?" And he said, "I need," and then he explains it to me. It's this kid. He's explaining his shot to me. "Look, I got a frame here. There's 2 people facing one another. It's into a cell. All I'm seeing is the back wall of the cell. I want a body in there. I don't want this hole with a wall in between these 2 stars, okay? So get in there." I said, "How much time do I have?" So he goes, 3 minutes. They got to set up the cameras, the lights. I say, "Okay, I'll be right back." And I run to prop department, which they had. Warner Brothers has sent up an entire prop department for. So I went. I said, "You got a checkerboard? Give me a checkerboard." So the prop department says, "We don't have checkerboards." I said, "What do you got?" "We got a chessboard." "Okay, give me a chessboard and the chess pieces. Hurry up. I got to get back. I'm on camera. It's for a scene." So he gives me the stuff. I run in. I set it all up, the chessboard. And then Don Siegel says, "Okay, Clint, we're going. Let's go. Let's go." I say, "Okay, you ready, Larry?" I go, "Yeah." He looks through the camera. He goes, "Cut. Hold it." And he says, "Larry, come here." I go, "I fucked up. Somehow I've done something wrong." "What?" I go out. I come over. He says, "What the hell are you doing in there?" I go, "I'm playing checkers." "You're playing checkers? You got a chessboard in there." I go, "Yeah, because Charlie Butts went to the Alcatraz game department and all the checkerboards were rented out to the other convicts. All he had left was a chessboard, and Charlie Butts can't play chess because he doesn't know how to play chess. So he's playing chess. He's playing checkers with a chessboard. That's what I'm doing. You're playing checkers with a chessboard because Charlie Butts can't play checkers." "Yeah." "Okay, get back in there." "Well, no, I don't have to do that. I can do anything." No. "I just want to know what the hell you're doing, Larry. Get back in there. Play checkers." So I get back in there. If you look at the scene, there I am. And then he calls back in Clint and McGowan to do that. So in other words, he told 2 stars to get out of the way while he wants to find out what this schmuck, you know, playing Charlie Butts is doing with a chessboard. Yeah. I mean, so it was all such a friendly grandfather, grandson, and Clint Eastwood, you know, related to me like I was his son or something. You know, it was all friendly, just like I explained to you with the Janet Jackson thing. I could do no wrong, no matter what. And they put me on the entire 3 months. That's all they did was put me on.
Well, there's the opposite situation, and I could talk to you all day, but I would be remiss. I would be remiss if I do have to ask you one more thing. Mr. Heckles, as your performance as Mr. Heckles and Friends, you were in the Friends reunion. You popped in for a cameo, and the audience goes crazy. Yet Jennifer Aniston, Courtney Cox, Lisa Kudrow did not remember the character's name.
They didn't want me, no, not them. Here's the secret. The secret to that whole thing. The owners of Friends stayed through to the end. So that show was on, I think, 7 years or 9 years. I can't remember which.
Long time.
When that show went off the air, it was sold into syndication worldwide. At that point, the producers of Friends sold it to a consortium. They just washed their hands of it, sold it for billions of dollars. I mean, I don't blame them at all. I mean, they just made a killing. The consortium sat on the ownership. They let it circulate around the world until the year before the reunion, when the consortium decided they'll make another killing if they did a reunion now after about 10 years or however long it took. So, okay. So it was a consortium that put that on. It had nothing to do with the old friends or all those people. They had gone on with their lives. They were invited. So I don't blame them for forgetting Mr. Heckles' name. That was just another job. I don't care if they were regulars. It never crossed my mind that they couldn't remember my name. That was great. That was fine.
The crowd remembered you. The crowd went crazy.
Remembered me. Fans remembered me. But they, the consortium, didn't want me on that show.
Why not?
I don't know why. I don't know why. So I wasn't called at all. I was called about 10 days before that show aired, was shot. But everybody else that appeared on that show, from all the stars to the regulars, to the demi-regulars, to the recurring, they were all hired months before for that show. And I was wondering, and the fans would call me and write me and say, hey, why aren't you on the reunion? They've printed a list of the guest stars that are going to be on the show and you're not on there. So I thought, well, they don't want me. Okay, fine. So I just blew it away, blew it off. It's just show business, And then finally 10 days. And now I think what happened was the fans dunned them into saying, hey, we want Mr. Heckles on. Because 10 days before, they called and they said, hey, do you want to do the reunion? And I said, no, not, well, what's the pay? Because I was like done with it, They didn't invite me, fuck them. So they called and they said, you want to be on it? And I said, what are you going to pay me? And they said, like, I don't know, $500 or something. And I said, no, thanks. I got other things to do. And I hung up. And about 4 days later, they called again and they said, you sure you don't want to be on the show? We really would like to have you. I said, how much is it going to be? $500. I said, no, thanks. I said to him, I really did say, no, that's an insult. You invited everybody else months ago. You're inviting me now and you're offering me $500 for Mr. Heckles? No, you're cheapskates. And I hung up on him. I did. I don't care, man. I love it that I don't care. But the next day, they called up and they said, we'll give you $10,000. Will you be on it? Yeah, sure. Okay. We'll send a car for you. And you can, and we'll drive you there. Great, because it's out in the valley. I said, great, fine. Next day, when the shoot was, they sent a car for me, a limo, drove me out there. I pull in. There's a guy waiting for me. You're Mr. Heckles? Yeah, you're Larry Hankin? Okay, fine. Follow me. I go through the set. They're all setting it up and everything. They take me to my dressing room and they say, you wait here until we call you. They wouldn't let me out of the dressing room. I said, can I go down and say hello to the people? Because I passed them on the way up. They were all, hanging out, working the cameras and measuring things. And they say, no, you have to wait here. So I snuck down during the taping. I snuck down and I just, because I wanted to watch to see what was going on. And I was busted. Somebody busted. Hey, he's down here. They sent somebody, hey, get back in your dressing room. And a guard took me up and put me back in. I mean, they just didn't want me. So I just said, this is bullshit. Thank God for the $10,000. And then at the end, when I did my thing, I said, can I say more than what I said? Or can I stay once I get out? No, you have to get out.
You open the door, you do a couple lines and you leave.
Yeah. So I got a big applause when I came out and did like for 1 second. And then I went back in. And then I got dressed in my regular clothes because I was finished. I snuck down again. And then nobody came over to me because I was kind of standing with real people, not the crew or actors. I just stood with real people who were watching. And when who's the cop guy who has dinner every night in the show? The episode is around the dinner table.
I know what you're talking about. I can't remember.
Yeah, it's a PI. He did that PI thing too, right? But okay, him. So he's a big star now, right? So I'm watching, he was on stage, they were still shooting. And he was, doing, oh, hi, how you doing, blah, blah, blah. And then he comes off stage. And as he walks, he diverts. They were taking him and his entourage are going up to his dressing room. And he diverted his crowd, over to me. And he came over to me and he says, I love Mr. Heckles. And then he walked away. So that was the only kind of friendly thing of the entire episode of calling me on the phone, locking me in my dressing room, and then, putting me in the limo and sending me home.
So not remembering your character's name is the least of it.
Excuse me?
Not remembering your character's name is the least of it.
No. I mean, no, I don't. I don't.
But the response of the audience. I mean, you can hear it when you walk.
I didn't even hear that. But everybody said I was great. But I didn't hear that. I didn't hear I thought I didn't get any applause at all.
Well, Larry, you were great. You've been great on the show. You barely scratched the surface, but you got to go. We got to go. But I got to tell you, and I would love to do this again. But let me ask you one more question, and then I'm going to have your website and your paintings and your T-shirts. How are you able to be so sharp physically and mentally at your age? And I'm not going to say your age.
I don't admit to it. I don't believe it. I mean, it's bullshit. I just don't. Here's what I do. Every once in a while, somebody will ask me what my birthday is because they want to wish me a happy birthday. So I tell them a different date every time. A different date and a different year every time. Now, because I don't give a fucking shit about it. It's stupid. If you are having a birthday after the age of 36, you're full of shit. It's the stupidest thing. All it is telling you, hey, one more year closer to death. That's like so stupid. I mean, you should outgrow birthdays. I think it's the most ridiculous thing in the world. That's how I stay young, by being angry about birthdays. It's stupid, man. Don't listen.
It's so ironic.
What you think in your head is that's how old you are. Forget it.
That's a great answer. And it's so ironic that you pulled out that arbitrary age because Nicole just had a birthday. And
but she's got time. She's not 36. By the way, I love talking to you, Nicole. You're a great conversationalist. I'm going to talk about you after the show is off. That's how good I like it. But here's the thing. People are surprised. Yeah. So I tell everybody a different date. Okay. The upshot and the upside of that is randomly throughout the year, once or twice a month, I get a birthday greeting. Hey, it's your birthday today. Happy birthday, Larry.
That's great.
And it's like January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November, December. Every month I get happy birthday greetings. Nobody knows how old I am. And some people actually do. I pretty much don't. So.
Well, happy 29th birthday, Larry Hankin.
Thank you.
And
the last time I had a birthday, I swear this is true. I'm not bullshitting you. The last birthday I had was when I was 36, and then I just washed my hands of the whole stupid business. If you're 100, have a birthday. Congratulations. You made it. Okay, you deserve it. But I don't know.
Between 36 and 100, who cares?
Or 200. Yeah, if you reach 200, man, have a soiree. have a fete. Have a festival. Okay, I got to get out of here.
Larry, your website is the real.
You're not as dark as they talk about.
I appreciate it. Your website is the real Larry Hankin.
The real Larry Hankin. And look out for my book. I have 2 books out. One is called The Loopholes Dossier. That's on Amazon. Loopholes Dossier, Larry Hankin on Amazon. It's really a great read. It's a bunch of
and while you're on Amazon, you can get your CD poems and stories too.
I didn't know that, but that's great. I did that a long time ago. That's when I was a poet, a performing poet. And what else? And my book, That Guy, will come out. And that's my history and show business. That comes out in December around. Okay, awesome. I got to get out of here.
When that book comes out, will you come back?
Okay. Yeah, sure. When that guy comes out, definitely.
Larry Hankin, it's been a pleasure. Nicole, did I tell you he's quite the storyteller?
Oh yeah, he was great.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it immensely.
And follow Nicole 6 Books, and get her book Slow Burn on
How cooling is your fan, Nicole? Is that really?
It's nice. The reason why my phone overheated though for some reason, so it's not cool enough.
Oh wow, yeah. Well, I'm sweating here. Okay, I got to say goodbye.
I appreciate it. Bye, Larry.
Mark the Mark. Okay.
Mark and Larry Hankin. Thank you.
Bye.
And everybody have a wonderfully creepy week. Bye.
Bye.